Hey everybody, welcome to season two of OK Everyday podcast on how to make our lives okay every day with transactional analysis. Here from our home studios are Jason Brennan and Alexi Beck. Hey Jason,
Hey, Ollie.
and the topic for OK Everyday today is
The stroke economy, or Claude Steiner's The Stroke Economy.
the stroke economy. Ooh, sounds really interesting. And before we go into the stroke economy, a quick recap on what stroking and strokes are. And in transaction analysis, a stroke is a basic unit of recognition or acknowledgement that individuals give or receive from others. And it could be positive, it could be negative, it could be verbal, it could be nonverbal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And if you want to know a little bit more about that, all the previous episodes of season two are all around stroking. So, stroking in general, stroking from the parent, from the child, from the adult. And last episode, we went into the stroke filter and the stroke bank. Now, what did we talk about there, Jason? Can you give us a short recap?
Yeah, absolutely. And it fits very well with this idea of a stroke economy. So, this idea of a stroke filter
Okay.
is that when we're growing up, there's certain types of recognition that were free flowing or kind of not so easily kind of received or given from the family
Okay.
we grew up in, or the school, or even the country you might grow up in. Actually, can play a
Mm-hmm.
factor there in terms of how people are recognized or what they're recognized for or not. So
Mm-hmm.
then we start to build up this kind of view of the world based on what's available and what's not available. We create like a filter. If you imagine like a set of glasses that will only
Mm-hmm.
let in certain things and keep certain things out.
Yeah.
So our own personal stroke filter is it's unconscious, so we're not aware of it, right? Until we become aware
Mm-hmm.
of it. So but we become aware of it when we realize that actually, for example, we might find it hard to accept a positive stroke.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we find it hard to accept a positive piece of recognition? Well, that just means there's a filter going on there that's not allowing some things in so easily, that
Mm-hmm.
might be allowing other things in. So, for example, we might more quickly accept a negative piece of recognition. So, aha! So now part of our filter is open to negative, and a little bit more closed to positive. So
Right.
when we get more aware of our own filter, we can then change it, just like changing a pair of glasses. It's
Mm-hmm.
up to us, and it's just a little bit about practice. But the stroke economy that we're going to talk about today sits behind that. I'm very much looking forward to getting into it
So
to
getting
see how this all comes together.
getting into the transactional analysis banking system with a
That's
stroke
right.
then. So when we go into the stroke economy, where do we start?
Well, the main guy behind it,
Hmm.
I mentioned at the start here, is a guy called Claude Steiner. He's a very
Hmm.
well-known transactional analyst, and he was kind of there mostly from the beginning, back in the 50s. And he came up with this concept, and I think he refers himself as a kind of a radical psychiatrist, in that
Okay.
he's trying to change the world through these kind of radical ideas and then bringing them in like
Hmm.
change on big scale. Actually, let's change
Hmm.
some stuff politically. And I think that's where he came up with this idea of an economy. When
Hmm.
you're thinking of kind of uh, bigger than ourselves, right? This
Right.
idea of the world we're in or the country we're born into or whatever. So how do we fit into that, and how is that affecting us? So he came up
Hmm.
with this large idea of this concept that there's like he calls it a stroke economy. Imagine a recognition economy.
Okay.
So the idea of economy being this kind of concept that there's only so much of it in the world,
Mm.
right? So if you imagine at the moment, you might think there's only so much gold or silver in the world, right? So it
Yes.
suddenly becomes sparse or
Finite.
precious. Yeah, finite, exactly. Yeah, it's a
Mm.
great word for it. So he applies this idea to why we have these filters and the type of stuff that we learned when we were younger around recognition, that there's only a finite amount of it in the world. And we'll see how that
Mm.
plays out through his five, well, he calls them rules, but really they're kind of like beliefs that we come up with, or that our parents came up with, or that our parents came up with, that kind of get handed down.
Okay. So it's a recognition. And am I correct to saying that with the recognition economy, first of all, the recognition economy is based on kind of the real economy that's happening, but it's drawn from there, right? So it's kind of there's metaphors that kind of that sound similar or can be used in TA. But the recognition, it sounds like it might not be that finite in strokes.
Well, we're gonna have a look at that
Okay.
at the in this session to see what would happen if we apply some of his thinking.
Okay.
If we take these five rules that he recognizes that can happen, and then kind of blast them out of the water and
Okay.
see what's left over. You know, what's
Okay.
the solution?
We'll keep that for dessert then.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
so
right. That's right.
um so do you want me to go ahead? I'll say those five rules or those five beliefs. I'll start with the first one. I believe the first one is don't give strokes when you have them to give.
Yeah. So
Mm,
what is Mr. Steiner saying there? So if we have this idea of, and again, when you hear the word strokes, think about recognition.
right.
Okay, so if you got recognition to give, so don't give strokes or recognition when you have them to give. So
Mm,
what he's saying there is, um, why might a person have that idea in their head or that belief?
mm,
Well, he's saying we probably bumped up against this in our childhood. Do you know, with our parents, with our teachers, with influential, significant authority figures,
yes.
um, and we might have got a sense that we did something really, really good, but somebody might have not given us a recognition for that, or might have
Hmm.
found out, yeah, well, that's pretty good, but you also could have done this. So it's like, oh, okay, well then I'll.
Mm,
Oh, that didn't land so well. So then we might start to learn to practice that ourselves, which is we
mm.
might see somebody doing something really good, but not tell them.
Oh yeah. You know what comes to mind, Jason?
Yeah,
So both the personal and professional examples come to mind from on my own
great,
here.
great.
So a personal example, I think, and a lot of listeners of yours could relate, I'm sure, to this, is if a significant other would have a particular dress for that for the evening or
Yeah,
something like that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and instead of saying it, although I know I'm thinking
Mm,
it, oh, you look amazing, I might not say it, and it takes time sometimes to remember, oh yeah, you know what, it's great to actually say
yeah,
this because they would feel appreciated and they'd feel that all the effort that they went through to look great this evening was noticed
yeah.
and they feel appreciated that way.
How lovely, yeah, yeah. But that little process there, Ollie, that I'm thinking something really nice, and I could share it, but all of a sudden I'm not, or something's it's not flowing. Do you know what I mean? Like what? That's the
No.
that's the filter and the economy. So it's saying
Right.
that, oh, maybe I shouldn't say something. Maybe if
Mm,
or maybe I might be too something if I say it. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
Or I might even get in trouble. So what he's saying there is don't give strokes when you have them to give. So it's a great example. You have this thought,
yeah.
you could say something. It's nice, it's sharing. Everybody should feel good about it. But oh, no, no, better not. Better just think it and not say it.
Put it down there.
That's right. Oh, and actually, that's right. Put it down because he talks about and why he uses the word economy is oppression.
Oh.
We're oppressing or repressing something.
Mm,
And he's like, why are we doing this,
well,
right? So that's where he came up with this rule number one is we learn to not give strokes when we have them to give.
and I think the same, very similar things happen at work as well. And
Mm,
sometimes we touched upon this in previous episodes slightly, but the fast-paced environment of the
yeah,
job sometimes negates the great achievements that somebody would do. And for example, it sometimes is as easy as saying, you know what, in this particular project, this is one thing that you did really, really well, versus just saying nothing about it and going through, oh yeah, that's, it's expected that everyone performs at the best ability.
yeah.
So let's
That's
just
just
move on.
we shouldn't have to say it.
We
They,
shouldn't
they
have to
should just
say that
know
you
it
did a
if
good job.
they're yeah. And I get it a lot in. It always makes me laugh, but it does have a kind of a sting in the tail when after doing a workshop, and then I give out
Mm,
this kind of workshop survey,
yeah.
and often people are quite heavy on the what could have been done better. All right, what I mean? So there'd be like lots of, oh, he didn't do this and he didn't do that, and the positive feedback would be nice, good. So it's not. So they give you great detail on what you could have done better. Thinking, oh no, I'm
No.
trying to help him. I'm trying to help him by improving his. And it's like, well, yeah, but also you could spend more time filling out the what you really liked and what the facilitator did well, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. But and that I assume kind of goes under the first rule or belief. don't give strokes when you have them to give, right? And that stroke filter already influences us from the childhood to not give out strokes when we feel that that
Yeah,
might be a good opportunity to do that, right?
yeah, yeah. Like as you were saying, we can talk ourselves out of it. You know.
Very true. So, what would be belief number two?
So don't ask for strokes when you need them.
Ooh.
That's quite a
So you can need
challenging one.
strokes?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, TA would say absolutely every day we need strokes because it's one of our primary hungers, right? So
Mm.
how do we feed it, or how do we neglect it, or what kind of diet are we feeding? You know what I mean when it
Right.
comes to strokes. So don't ask for strokes when you need them. So that's like you might you might be feeling a bit low, or you might
Mm.
be feeling a bit insecure,
Hmm.
doubting yourself, or doubting your confidence, doubting what you're able for. Um, and you know this is happening, and you might think, well, actually, one of the ways I could get some support is talk to a colleague, talk to a friend. If I'm
Right.
worried about a project and how it's going, I could go and talk to somebody about this, and even how I'm performing. Get some feedback. So
Hmm.
if I want to get some positive strokes, well, actually, I might need to put myself out there. But
Right.
Claude says, well, no, we learn not to do that.
Mm.
We
Right.
carry this belief, a rule to say, no, don't make yourself vulnerable like that. Ooh, dangerous. You know?
Yeah, and I can totally relate to that because I think one of the parts of my job that I really enjoy is being a facilitator for trainings, and
Mm,
I do a lot of that work. And when I first started out, the first thing I really wanted to know is similar to what you said. When you do a course, you'd want to know the feedback, but I stopped myself and asking, so how do you think it went? No, straight out from when it ended, it's kind of, so how was that? How did that land? Did you think that was a good job, or what could I have done differently? Even any kind of feedback, I was really hungry for it. And as you said, it
mm.
is one of the hungers. So that kind of it stopped me from asking those questions of, okay, so what do you think? Did it go well? Did it not go well? How did it go generally? I
Yeah,
just need to know. I just need to understand for my own sanity until the end of the day, until the day tomorrow.
yeah,
I need to understand how it went.
yeah. Feeling a bit vulnerable. We all do. And sometimes we do need a hand. Like, so, the idea here would be, I need a bit of help here in some way.
Mm,
It might be to get some feedback. It might be to improve. It might be just to know how am I tracking. But we learn not to ask for that.
mm.
And he'd say because we might have had bad experiences when we were
Mm.
younger around kind of going and seeking something from somebody else, mom, dad,
Right.
teachers, I mean, whatever. Um, so that that kind of gets in the way nowadays. It's
Right.
what it says, because it says it's limited, or you shouldn't, or whatever. Kind of ask for what you want.
And that's the thing. I think I'm kind of moving a little bit ahead, but the kind of the opening for me in that area was the egogram. And that's
Oh, right.
when it kind of one of the points there is when you need strokes, right?
Yeah,
So
nice.
asking for strokes. I was like, what do you mean you can ask for that? It's like, okay, that's something new for me. I didn't even know. Maybe it was cultural part of it. Part of it was the way the upbringing, et cetera, et cetera. But asking for some positive reinforcement, only for criticism, that was okay. But for positive
Yeah,
reinforcement,
that's right.
it wasn't really a thing.
That's a brilliant example. Because oh yeah, it's okay to ask for what I did wrong. Please tell me all. Give me, criticize me. Come on, please. It's exactly what I want. As
Yeah, I'm,
opposed to,
I'm already tired and vulnerable. Please give me more to
yeah,
bang me down a little bit.
you know, the last thing I should do is ask for praise. My God, crazy.
Ugh,
No, no, give me, give me,
ugh,
give me the hard stuff.
ugh. Praise? No.
Oh, brilliant stuff. So you can see that he's onto something, Claude, with this.
True.
He's not making it up. We live this even every day. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we might hold ourselves back from doing something that's actually good for us, or even good for
Yes.
somebody else, right?
Right. Right. So, in number three, belief number three, or ingredient number three, is don't accept strokes if you want them.
Yeah. So again, very clever, Mr. Steiner. So that highlights the stroke filter.
Okay.
So I might, imagine the example we are just giving there. I might really crave a bit of praise, a bit of positive recognition.
Hmm.
And I might even put it out. I might be brave enough to kind of ask for that. And then somebody starts to give me praise.
You know what,
Oh,
Jason? You did an amazing job there.
yeah. And what do? I downplay it. Oh no, 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 no. I was just look, come on, that was I don't know if it was that good. Thanks, but I think you're being generous. So even though I want these positive strokes, I'm not accepting them. I'm kind of
Ooh,
minimize them or bat them away or do whatever. Like you the example you gave with the dress. Oh, you look,
yes.
sweetheart, you look really good in that dress. Oh, what, this old thing?
Hmm.
And all of a sudden it's been kind of chopped away. So, and I think we can all experience that. When you might feel awkward or something. Somebody actually does something genuinely nice, and it feels like,
I think
what do I do with this?
it is difficult, and I think I could relate to that a lot because that was downplaying compliments towards me was a thing of, I've done I might even do it sometimes now, and I think the thing that helps me a lot right now is just to first of all say thank you and acknowledge whatever's
Yeah,
happening,
yeah,
and then kind of figure, okay, so what do I do with this? So is this something that I accept? Is it what happens next?
yeah. And I think, Ali, like that example there of just saying thank you is a form of acceptance. So it's already
Right.
allowing it in a bit or a bit more, if you want to put it that way. And that's
Hmm.
lovely for the other person because they get at least something back
Yeah.
instead of this kind of strange look. Ooh, what do I do with it? So they get a positive stroke back. And then, exactly what you're saying there, we can take our time to accept it as long as we're accepting it and not overly challenging it, because then,
Right.
that's not fair in a way. Like this
No.
person gave it freely, with authenticity. Why not accept it freely with authenticity? Do you know?
Yeah. I'm okay, you're okay, right?
Yeah, that's right. You got
Yeah.
it. You got it. But again, so many people, oh, I'm terrible at compliments. Oh, I hate being in the spotlight. No, no, gosh, why?
Well, because Jason.
Uh, Actually, do you know where this sometimes pops up, and listeners and viewers might get it. Um, Lots of people for a long time might struggle with their birthdays
Okay.
because you often get a lot of attention at your birthday, and even when the song is being sung with your name in it, I mean, it can be, oh, get this over with. It's only a tiny song. I think it's got, I don't know how many lyrics, but not an awful lot of lyrics. But you can see people really, really squirm and find it very, very difficult with all of this attention, 20 odd people singing happy birthday, you know? And that's a good example of it's like stroke overload. I don't know how to
Hmm.
accept them in general, but now there's just too much. So they say, oh, I don't want to.
System error,
That's
system
right. I
error,
say,
two.
whoop, whoop, whoop. Get me out of here. Escape, escape. Whoop. But you can see it like it's like no, no happy birthday. Don't be singing happy birthday. You know, and then they go to a restaurant and somebody comes out with a
With the
cake
cake.
and they just they hide, disappear. You know, I used to be a bit like that, but now I love my birthday because I think, well, why not? I'm still alive, and I should celebrate it.
Oh, wow. That's a great example with birthdays. And I think birthdays and celebrate general, like
Mm.
different types of celebrations in general, they go in there. They go in that basket. Let's put
Yes,
it
I
this way.
totally
So
agree.
number four would be don't reject strokes if you don't want them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to say, personally, I had a little trouble with understanding this, so please kick us off.
Yeah, because
What's it about?
there's so many negatives in it. Reject, don't twice. Say, hey, and that doesn't, how do we compute that? So don't reject strokes when you don't want them. Now, what that means is, if you think about it, we were talking about it a second ago, Ollie. Strokes are happening all day, every
Yeah,
day. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's just a language that's going on. But sometimes the strokes become quite obvious, like when somebody's being negative or
hmm,
critical,
hmm,
all of a sudden it becomes sharp focus. Ooh, there's something going on here. I don't know how I feel about it, right?
hmm,
So somebody might be negative or critical, and this of course happens in work. Give some people giving their opinion, on
yeah.
lots of stuff without necessarily asking, would you like some feedback? You know what I mean? So they just
No
it's just coming.
contract.
Yes, that's
Hmm.
right. So they're just coming out with it. And of course, in personal life, it happens all the time. So we can't when somebody gives a negative stroke.
Hmm.
We can't preempt that. We didn't know they were going to do that. So it's a case of what do we do when they do it, and to know it's
Right.
going to happen at some stage. So what Claude
Hmm.
is talking about here is we don't have to accept a negative stroke just because somebody else gave it,
Mm.
right? So that we can reject it, we can not take it on,
Right.
we can kind of make sure that our filter is robust enough to let it just bounce off. Because people do give negative strokes, uh, probably more often than positives, I'd say, and we don't have to be passive and just accept it. We can not let it in, is what he's saying. But with the unfortunately with this rule, we let it in.
Right. So we
So
accept it
as
even
opposed to
though we
reject it.
have the option not to,
Bingo.
and it
Yeah.
should be our conscious, well, not necessarily should be, but it could be our conscious decision to not accept it if we don't
Spot
agree
on.
with it.
Spot on. Absolutely. Or if we question the intention of why the person was giving it in the first place. You know what I mean? It
Mm,
may not actually be coming from a good place.
right.
Um, so yes. So the opposite would be don't accept it, if that makes sense. He's saying don't reject it. So he's playing with words, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Wow, that's really deep, by the way, and it comes down to the essence of choice, doesn't it? So
Bingo.
it's a choice to accept or to reject or to ignore whatever action goes after that.
Yeah, yeah. And the key to all of this is awareness, because
Right.
this is stuff we learn as children. So it's just sitting in the background, kind of happening all the time. But if in the moment we listen to ourselves and get a sense of what's going on, I don't like where this is coming from. Listen to that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because then you can say, well, actually, I don't need to accept it. Uh,
Wow.
but mostly we would passively accept it because this rule is in there. Don't reject it.
Wow.
Mm.
That is a big one. And we go to our last one, which is my favorite one, personal favorite one, is don't give yourself strokes.
That's my personal favorite. Why is that? Why is that your personal favorite?
It's the one I had the most challenges with.
Yeah, that's right. This is the rule I love to hate. And I don't think you're alone in that.
No.
I think a huge amount of the world um, find a bit of difficulty with this one.
Right.
Don't give yourself strokes. It's kind of boof. It's right there. Whatever you do, don't be nice to yourself.
You never did anything good. That's it.
Oh, that's a harsh one.
Boom.
But yeah, so this is he's saying you might, well, anytime you could give yourself a compliment, and there might be some stuff
That's
you're
true.
really proud of and having achieved, or just how you are in the world, or the type of person you are, the type of father you are, the type of mother, the type whatever. So the type of things you bring to your world, it's always there to acknowledge and recognize.
Mm.
But somewhere along the line, we get this message says, not you're not supposed to do that. You know,
It's too selfish.
that's right. Or,
Too selfish.
egotistical, or what are you, narcissist?
Don't boast. Don't
Yeah,
boast a lot.
exactly. Yeah. And the kind of rule behind that is, oh, if you give yourself a little, your head will get way too big and you'll fall over. And that's just not true. That's, nobody else will have any oxygen in the room because your head is so big.
In the room, in the world,
In the
Jason.
world, oh, that's if you give yourself two positive strokes back to back. But you can see it's there. I think you're right.
True.
You were touching on it yourself, Ollie. It's not easy.
No, it's not. And I think the change for me happened fairly recently, to be honest with you. It's when I had my injury, my ACL injury,
Right.
and recovery is so slow with the ACL that you need to find these moments where you just praise yourself. You know what? You can lift your leg a little bit higher than you did 2 weeks ago. Well done. So you're
Yeah.
doing a good job. And that kind of really helps. And sometimes it's really, really difficult to even think. positive about, oh, I think I did a good job there. Oh, but I'm not supposed to be kind of thinking nice about it. It's like
Yeah,
somebody else should give me that compliment. It
yeah.
doesn't sound right. And even if they do, and they'll downplay it, saying,
That's
no,
right.
not really.
It's such a trap, isn't it? I shouldn't do it myself. I should wait for somebody else. And then when somebody else does, I should reject it. It's like, huh? Where do you go with that?
And I was just thinking, I think it was to the previous episode, tying this episode and the previous one, is that's one heck of a bank where you set traps everywhere for yourself,
I
isn't it?
know, I know. Heavy fees. There's heavy fees in that bank.
Heavy fees.
You
Oh
know.
yes. Oh yes. You put in 100 euros and you have to pay another 200 just to maintain that.
That's right. Then you might have to take out a loan just to cover the fees for your original. It's a trap, and that's kind of what he's highlighting.
Right.
It's a false trap
Wow.
because this is stuff that we picked up and learned or created beliefs around that we don't need to hold on to them anymore. Like there's a
Hmm.
way out.
Wow.
What do you think the way out is?
What? Well, the way out. Okay, so if we go, I'll actually read through the beliefs
Right.
and then see maybe somebody will figure it out, but we'll give the answer. So the belief number one is don't give strokes when you have them to give. Number two, don't ask for strokes when you need them. Number three, don't accept strokes if you want them. Number four, don't reject strokes if you don't want them. And number five, don't give strokes to yourself.
Yeah. Okay, Ali.
Now, the magic happens when we take away the word don't.
Now, sir, can you read them back to us without the word don't?
I feel slightly nervous. Okay, here goes. Give strokes when you have them to give.
Bingo.
Ooh. Ask for strokes when you need them.
Lovely.
Accept strokes if you want them.
Yes, I will.
Reject strokes if you don't want them.
Certainly when I don't want them.
Ooh. Give strokes to yourself.
Yes. Look at that.
Ooh.
Now, imagine what life would be like if we were practicing this every day.
Ooh. That's a
Uh,
bank I'd go to.
that's right. That's right. And actually, do you know what Claude would say? There isn't a bank. When you do this, there isn't a bank, right? There isn't an economy.
Ooh.
Because one of the
There is no
beauties,
spoon.
there is no spoon. Actually, we should check out the matrix and see what what's in there in terms of transaction analysis.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But what what he and this is a bit I absolutely love about his kind of cleverness here is what he says is there is no economy. There never was. It's
Mm,
false. It's make believe because it's based on the idea that there's a stroke deprivation. There's only so much recognition in the world that you can tap into, and there isn't. When we
right.
get rid of this idea of don'ts, then strokes become limitless, which they are. We can give as many positive strokes as we want to others. We can give them to ourselves, Ollie, like you were saying. We can give ourselves self encouragement every day. It's free.
Yeah.
It's good for us. We can encourage others as much as we want. So this idea of there being a stroke deprivation, it's not. It's false. There is a limitless amount of strokes in the world that we can bring, give, receive, ask for if we
That
practice.
that is a very beautiful way to wrap this episode up.
Mm, powerful.
Infinite resources, and the strokes are the infinite resources that we have in our we can use in our everyday lives.
Mm.
So, dear viewers, dear listeners, thank you for being with us on this episode of OK Every Day, where Jason and I talked about the stroke economy, so to say, this false stroke economy, but the fact that we have an infinite amount of resources to give out to ourselves and to the world. Now, if you like this video, press the like button, share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in TA content, amazing, you're in the right place. Click the subscribe button, and that will keep you informed of every OK Everyday episode coming out in the near future. In any case, we really hope that you stay OK
Every day.
every day.